So session 7 begins right here when you open up the externship link that you will have. As soon as we're done here, what I'm going to do is go ahead and register you for the course. Open up the link and you'll see the course from the beginning. Where you want to start again is session 7, where we are now. You simply click session 7. At the beginning of each section is a basic introduction of what that session is about. And if you trust your eyes and you read all the words that you see, you will have very few questions. It might be a little awkward because in the beginning, for the first session, it can be a little awkward because what we're utilizing for these exercises is we are utilizing those components, the component of SimChart on your Evolve site, and we're combining that with outside resources so that you can practice as if you are entering patients from scratch. As you know, in SimChart, you are given a list of assignments, over 100 assignments. Those assignments give you practice at these routine tasks, but none of the assignments, that to my knowledge, I could be wrong, none or few of the assignments actually allow you to enter patients from scratch. So what you'll be doing, again in this module, is entering from scratch, and I'll walk you through that briefly in a minute. So at the beginning of each session, read what the highlights of the session are and what the focus of the session is going to be. So this week you're going to be entering demographics, insurance information, super bills, etc. for durable medical equipment, which is different from regular charges. Some of the other sessions that you do have super bills that you use, but we're not going to be using those this session. Make a note that each week after today from 11, it says 11 to 1 for the weekly Zoom session, but it never takes 2 hours to do that session. It usually takes no more unless I'm doing a special session to explain something like coding reports or evaluation and management coding. Unless it's that, it very rarely takes more than about 30 to 45 minutes at the most. It's not necessary. But remember, after today's session, that you attend on Fridays at 11 o'clock, not 9 o'clock. And what I did previously is I did a recording to preview session 7. Feel free to look at that. It's from another time. It's probably from 2 cycles ago. But feel free to look at that to get an idea. Another recording here is a review and overview of instructions on how to navigate between the 2 resources that we have, which are outside source documents, demographic source documents, insurance cards, super bills, and in this case for DME, we have authorizations, which we use in dispensing durable medical equipment. What we use as a super bill is we actually use an authorization form. So this video here is something that you can review to have a walkthrough not only of the session itself, but toward the middle. If you want to speed up, toward the middle of the video here that I'm pointing to is a walkthrough of how to submit your assignments. I'm going to briefly walk through that, but this will give you an idea of that. And this is the most important thing that you would do every week, is you would actually review the checklist of activities. All right? You do not have to, I repeat, you do not have to register on the Evolve site for my externship course. I'm actually going to be removing this. The reason is that it will require an access code. Again, the same reason for not registering for the Moodle course. It will require an access code that you don't necessarily have anymore. So ignore this first step. It doesn't apply to you. All right? But on a weekly basis, in order to keep track and on track of everything that you have to do, review the checklist of activities. After in place of registering for the Evolve site, again, contact your teacher to make sure he or she keeps you on the roster for SimChart, especially SimChart and coding internship. The next one, open folder named Files for completing Simulation Playground activities. Access the appointment schedule in the session 7 files and follow the instructions for creating an appointment for each patient under Hidden Cities 2. Enter patient demographics and insurance information on the files for completing simulation playground activities. Create an office visit, super bill, and claim for each patient entered using the instructions in the documents provided below. And all of the instructions for everything that you have to do are in the form of Word documents right here. In addition, I have a document here that gives you tips for coding reports. And it says post the payments from the explanation of benefits provided using the instructions below. Manually complete a CMS 1500. Code all reports listed as assignments 1, 2, and 3. There's a typo there. Print files you're required to submit as PDFs and submit these in the respective drop boxes. If you follow this checklist, you won't miss any assignments. Number 10, to impress a prospective employer, you've been asked to create a 3 to 5 minute YouTube video demonstrating your understanding of the HIPAA privacy rule. I have a couple of typos in here that I'm gonna make a note to myself right now to make that correction, to correct the typos. All right. So this is what you're doing, all right? And these are the objectives. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what you have here on site. You have drop boxes. In the drop boxes now, I actually just this morning altered something, and that is that usually in scheduling appointments in this Dropbox, there used to be a PDF with the appointments, but I have changed that. And again, I'm going to be altering the instructions. I'm going to be changing the instructions. I've changed that, and I have put the appointments for Hidden Cities in a folder right here. And opening the Hidden Cities appointment schedule and downloading it, what you'll see is that there are several clinics here, and you're going to be doing most of these clinics. The first clinic is Hidden Cities 1. That was done in session 6, so ignore it. But the second clinic, Hidden Cities 2, is a clinic that is designed to teach you, for you to practice billing durable medical equipment and fittings. And these are all the patients, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 in all, that you will have to make appointments for in SimChart. Okay? So in opening SimChart, keep this in mind. You always use the simulation playground. I'm already in SimChart. You know how to get to this point. In your version, all of these are checked on the side, on the left side, and you go in and you click each one and you start doing assignments. However, for externship, you're going to be using the simulation playground. Click the simulation playground, and always, make a note of this, always click, even if this is your first time going on, always click return to the previous session with save patient information and start. And as you know, this is going to open up to the appointment schedule automatically. I'm going to close some windows here because it will slow my process up. And because you're familiar with SimChart, I will point out here that all of the exercises that you're going to be doing are going to be done in one of these particular modules. For the first exercise, you will be in the front office because of course you're going to be making appointments based on Hidden Cities 2. This is an example of a demographic sheets for one of the patients in Hidden Cities 2. This is an example of the fee schedule for Hidden Cities 2. Now we know that SimChart has its own fee schedule that once you get in and you start doing it's, I'm not sure actually from this module, from this part of SimChart, I'm not sure. Here's a fee schedule. It comes in when you're doing coding and billing. You're not using this fee schedule. The fee schedule that you're going to use is going to be a fee schedule that is deposited in the course for Hidden Cities Clinic right now. All right? And where that fee schedule is in the course, is in this folder. All right, so you'll be able to access it there. So the appointments are here. I'm going to move these up because it makes more sense for them to be there, but the appointments are in their own folder. You will follow Hidden Cities 2, and then subsequent to that, you also have folders that you will be using to enter demographics and insurance information and to enter the super bills. So the demographics and insurance information, I'll click that file so you can see where they are. It's in one PDF that contains all the demographics for all the patients. The way the demographics look are like this. And as you can see, there are 7 of them. And all you have to do is take the information. The demographics themselves are very simple and self-explanatory. But in the process of creating appointments, you will always, what I would do is, as new students, and this being your first module, this is the only time that you actually have to make appointments. Every other time after this module, you can simply go straight through the demographics tab and begin entering demographics. But for the first time, you would schedule appointments. You would always choose new patient visit. I always say unknown, okay? But in this case, it looks like I've already had the opportunity to put DME fitting. You can put that, and you would always click create a new patient. In this case, the demographics that I'm going to create are for Andrea Clegg. The reason that it's important to complete everything that you can, I'm not going to, while it's important that you reference the exact information that's on the demographic sheet, I'm not going to because I want to save time. I'm going to create a birth date. Let's say October 1st. We're not going to do 2020. I'm going to use a different year, 2001. All right. 2001, October. I hope it lets me, it might, yeah, here we go, 2001, wherever that is. Let's see if I'll see if it lets me do it, but, okay, let's go back. Again, this is just for demonstration. And here we go. We have somebody who's 20 years old. Phone number, I'm just going to put a fake number in, but you're going to use the one that's on the demographic sheet. This is what to remember. Always use Julie Walden in all of the work that you do in SimChart, because we're using resources from another source, and because those resources are not created for SimChart, we have to mix resources and we have to do a few things that we have to be creative with, but it's not that hard. But always use Julie Walden. You can enter the insurance based on what's on the demographics. You can put the Social Security number that's going to be on the demographics, and we can put, I'm not going to put anything here because all that's required when you're initially creating a new patient, not entering all the demographics, but when you're creating a new patient, all that is required are all the items that are under red asterisk, and then you save it. Oops, see, it'll always let you know if you forgot something. Let me make sure that there's nothing else. And then now the patient has been created. The reason that I do this, I walk through this, is later on, after we make the appointment, then you go to the next step of entering demographics, and you just pull up the demographics tab here. And then you make the appointment, again referencing the appointment schedule, not doing what I'm doing because I'm just doing this to speed things up. I know that she had a 30-minute appointment, and make the appointment, and you don't have to have an exam room, and save it, and the appointment is made. All right, now what you do once you've made all the appointments for all the people on the sheet for the 7 people, in order for you to create a document that you can put in a Dropbox, and this is the case with all of the assignments that you do, the way you create that document is you press the print icon as I just shown you, and once the page comes up, depending upon your computer, but you will press print again, and you take the option to save it as a PDF and save it on your computer in a way that you, however you organize your files. As you can see, there are a lot of, let me go on Northwest College. As you can see, there are a lot of examples that I have here. But you save it, you create a folder, and you save it and label it based on what it is. And I'm just going to use this session 6 appointments. And you don't have to put your name because it's only going in your Dropbox, and you save it. And this way you have a document that you can use to put in the Dropboxes. And since all of you have been online, you're familiar with how to submit assignments in a Dropbox, so I don't have to demonstrate that. So the second thing, and again, there are some instructions for scheduling an appointment, but I think they're self-explanatory and they're pretty easy to get through. The second thing, as I pointed out before, just in case, there are written instructions for every single thing here. The next major thing that you're going to be doing is creating an office visit in the simulation playground. And of note here is that you have, let me X out of here since we're not going to use this one anymore. This is an example of the instructions that you have step by step for entering, for completing a super bill, and for creating a claim form. And you have to do these in this order, or if you don't do the super bill, you're not going to be able to create the claim form. If you follow these step by step, you can't go wrong. But there is something, since all of you have already used SimChart, I would like to show you something within SimChart that, let me X out of here. I'd like to show you something within SimChart that you'll have to utilize in a different way than you're used to. In order to do that, I'm going to pull up a patient, and I'm going to demonstrate briefly, I can't walk through every detail, but briefly, the creation of a super bill. So before creating the doing the super bill, you should, let me just make sure. Before doing the super bill, you actually have to create an office visit. All right. And because you'll have an office, and therefore, again, the only way you can actually do this exercise is if you've done the office visit first. So in that sense, it's possible that the directions that we have, I'm going to actually, let's see what the other one, let's go here. You can only, again, you have to create an office visit, so make sure that you follow the steps in creating an office visit. And once you do, when you get the step for creating the super bill, you will pull up the patient. These are where I've demonstrated before. And what you'll see are encounters not coded. And this is where you'll pull up the encounter. Coded means you have to create a super bill. And this is where you go to the steps, through the steps for creating a super bill. And thumbs up if you've done this before in SimChart. No? Well, you have to, if you follow the steps, step by step, you'll be able to do that. All right? But I will show you the tools, what you will need, the resources that you'll need in order to create a super bill. I'm going to go ahead and close this because it's taking up RAM. You're going to need the fee schedule, and you're going to need, in this case, you're going to need the authorization form for prosthetics. On the authorization form, which is used in place of a super bill for durable medical equipment, what you'll notice are there are a couple of things. One of them is the diagnosis, and the other one is one of them is the actual durable medical equipment that you're going to be dispensing. I was looking at that, I was like, that doesn't look like, this isn't the diagnosis, this is the equipment that you're going to be dispensing, and therefore is the CPT code that you're going to be using. And the other one is the diagnosis code that you're going to be using. So you're going to want to, for each patient, have their name pulled up for the super bill that you're entering. All right, so even though in this case I'm using Irma Willis, I'm using for purposes of demonstration, I'm going to be using something, another patient's information. So the first thing, of course, that you'll enter would be the diagnostic code. You can either find the diagnostic code the long way, or you can find it by doing a search in TrueCode, but that's a diagnosis code, and per instructions it's always in rank 1. For durable medical equipment, there's no durable medical equipment in the fee schedule in SimChart. And because of that, what you have to do is you'll have to put the durable medical equipment that you're going to be billing under one of these office visits. Okay? And so what you do is, and as you can see, I'm copying and pasting, and feel free to do that. It's not a big deal. I will paste. Let's see what this. I would paste it in any one of these spots here. Got the code. And I would use the fee schedule L0631, and I would find the fee for L0631, and let's pull it up here. Durable medical equipment. It would be right under here. L0631, it's $1,200. But also, in addition to that, the $1,200 is shown right there. So you may not even need the fee schedule, but what you would do would be to put the $1,200 here. Okay? That's it. And then you would save this page. Once you get the fee in, the diagnosis and the fee in, the only thing that the instructions describe are flipping through the pages of the electronic super bill to find out whether or not any of these any of the services that are reflected on the screen are what you want to bill. And once you get the durable medical equipment code in that you want, you don't need any more. All right, so you can easily flip through the pages and go all the way to page 4, the last part of the super bill, where you will, oh, wait a minute. Let's go back. Make sure that we have total. What it should be reflecting is actually, I made a mistake, sorry. The amount should be right here. Did any of you see me doing that? I'm used to things being laid out a certain way, but as you can see, it spotted a mistake right away because at the end of the super bill there was no fee. But as you can see here at the bottom, the fee is there. And it should be on the last page of the super bill, should be reflected. Once you get to the last page of the super bill, all you have to do is make sure that you check everything that is appropriate, because these are the things that are going to be on your CMS 1500. You can press no here, no for employment, auto accident, no. Again, these are components of the CMS 1500. These are blocks in the CMS 1500 that will be populated based on the information that you put here. I'm going to X out of here because it doesn't have my CMS 1500. But complete these, and once this is complete on page 4 of the super bill, click I am ready to submit super bill. You have to make sure everything that has an asterisk, always a signature on file, and always complete the date. Today is the 16th. And save it. Always save it. It'll let you know if there's a mistake. And then you submit the super bill. And it's done. All right? Once you've submitted the super bill, then the next thing that you're going to do is go to claim. And what will come up for the patient, you select the same patient. Unfortunately, it doesn't save the information. You just simply have a super bill. But you do have to print that super bill. And I forgot to, let me go back to the super bill for this patient. I'll go back to page 4, which we are on. And we've saved it. Once you're done with it, it's done. This is where you print and show that you have a completed super bill. Okay, and this is what you'll drop in the Dropbox. Okay, let's hurry up and speed it up. For the claim form, you will pull up the patient again, Irma Willis, and what you'll choose is one of the visits that you just created, the encounter form. This is why you have to create an encounter. And as you can see, it says not started here, so you would want to click action. And this is where you begin to actually complete the charges. And this is what's going to be on the claim form. All right. This is the top part of the CMS 1500 with patient information. You have the physician information. You have the insurance company information. You have the encounter notes. Click through all of this and make sure that you are checking the appropriate boxes. But you'll see, you'll actually be able to do this. I don't want to take up much more time because it's 10 o'clock now. But once you scroll through all the pages, save. You have to save each page, by the way. This is where you go to charge capture, and this is where you can put in the individual CPT codes again, and the dates of service. This is where you enter those again. But again, this is based on the super bill. Place of service 11. You put the diagnosis there, which is M. I forgot what it was, but I'm just going to put something in there. If you have modifiers, and then the $1,200 fee, and you dispense one of them, and you save it, and you print it to show me that you've done it. Okay? And this is the gist of what you'll be doing. So all of these folders here, again, will have to have an assignment in it. This is where the file folders are, where you get the information that you need to complete the assignments, demographic and insurance information, and super bills, and the appointment schedule, which I'm going to be moving, and the Hidden Cities fee schedule. And again, everything, all the instructions on how to do everything are right here. And usually once I show the students how to get into SimChart and where you do and special little tweaks you have to make, like we have to make a tweak this time with durable medical equipment because the SimChart fee schedule doesn't have one. Once I show the students that, they can usually use these instructions to get through pretty much anything that has to be done. Pretty easy. Last but not least, the thing that I want to point out to you are the assignments. I've already talked to you briefly about the simulation playground, but these are the reports that have to be completed. And what you will have to do, what I'm going to do is open up the simulation playground and on the Evolve site, mainly because some of you haven't done the simulation playground, and I want to make sure that you understand, number one, that this is hard. These reports are difficult. I would classify them as intermediate. They're not beginning reports. They're at least intermediate. For coders, they might be intermediate. Some of them are considered advanced. And I'm telling you that because I don't want you to stress if you feel that you can't do them. But what I want you to do is to at least try. In reality, the reports themselves, the answers to all the reports, this is interesting. Okay, here we go. The answers are there, and if you submit the reports, you're able to see the answers. But very briefly, I'll bring this over to record. For example, we're doing evaluation and management. you can choose, and the reports that I have on the session page are the ones that you're to do. But for example, if we choose discharge summary and we pull it up, if it doesn't take too long, I'm going to keep my word. Once you put your answers in here, and there probably isn't a report for this now that I think about it. Yeah, there won't be a report for discharge summary, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one for which there is a report. Let's do office visit. Do your best at finding the components of the office visit. Again, this is just an overview. It's not meant to be instructional. Occasionally, I will do more detailed instructions on, for example, coding, evaluation, management, but this is only to show you how to get the assignment done. I'm going to put an office visit in here. And, oops, wrong one, 992. An office visit, no modifier. And I'm going to put a diagnostic code that I think is right based on what I've read here. Once I put my answer in and I submit it, what will come up is it will actually let me know if I got it right or wrong. You have a way of comparing. Okay? This is the screen that I want you to try. If I don't see a try in here, you don't get points. I want you to try. Once you've tried and you actually have the answer, what you do is download the answer and or print it. It depends on your computer. I understand by some students that they're not able to actually download it, but you can actually press Control P as a shortcut to print and save it as a PDF as you did the other file and submit it in the Dropbox. Simple as that. So last but not least, I think I'm going to be able to keep my word to you to keep this short and sweet. Your YouTube video is something that you record. All you have to do is record the YouTube video. Some students have a difficult time. It depends on the device that they're using to do the recording. They have a hard time uploading the file itself. If that's the case, copy the link and paste it onto a Word document and put that in the Dropbox. All right? This assignment here, the completion of a CMS 1500 claim form, as I said, when you do the claim form exercise as part of what you're doing this week, you will output a claim in a CMS 1500 like you did in your exercises in SimChart. All you have to do for this exercise is take that information and transfer it over to a CMS 1500, save it, and put it in the Dropbox, and that's it. So hopefully this has been enough of an overview. I'm going to stop the